So this means that obviously the relationship between those two elements are actually working from an etheric side, which then passes it on to the water element. And then from the water element, the water draws it down and brings it into the earth. Now, this means that on an etheric or spiritual way, Orgone manifests itself from the etheric side through its degree to its earth element. Now, the composition of it all has to be one. So for it to create a charge, obviously all the etheric charges have to be, all the elements have to be placed within the grid. Remember when I was talking about the planets in relations to the metals? Now when we connect all these metals, each metals and each planet is ruled by a sign. A sign has its structure in the elements, which intertwine and interlink with the planets. This means that then the elements themselves have an interrelationship with the metals used as an ingredient in the orgonite. Those ingredients are then linked with a planet. The orgonite obviously is from an etheric composition or etheric plane. And then when it's structured into that one piece, it then creates a charge. That charge is obviously where it comes from, the planetary energies manifesting itself inside it. So back into the elements, those metals are linked to elements, and the ingredients used in the actual resin is actually an elemental composition of different elements. The final element is actually earth, which is cohedron. The earth element is the final, the last, the concrete, and is also governed by Saturn. Saturn's solidifier. Saturn is the last planet in the lesson of the earth to be learned on the esoteric astrology perspective. So that is where the final degree is. But the last point to that is when all of these ingredients are formulated and then placed inside the orgonite, however modification can be used or internal or produced, should I say, is by placing it inside the earth, or on the actual soil of the earth, I should say, which actually will be more precise. So when you place it in a soil, what begins happening is obviously the soil draws in and makes it concrete. That's when it draws all of that negative energy, brings it down right into the earth, because it draws it down. The earth element is the final, it's the last, it's the manifestation. Now, when you leave orgonite without a socket, should I say, this is you could see the earth as a socket. It then spreads. It works, don't get me wrong, it works, it does its structure, it creates its field, it's still powerful. You can leave it in your bedroom, you can leave it in the house. When it's in the earth, it grounds it. So that's where the whole modification of the weather comes through. You can build a grid around your area, around your house, around your garden, around your community, and build them outside in the ground, and that will draw in the deadly Orgone energy. So that's how it functions. That's how it functions in that sense. So that's how the elements are brought into action, because you have the air, the fire, the water, which then become one within the earth, and thus that is when orgonite has its formulation of drawing all of that deadly stuff coming from the sky. So when you use it at home, you use it in various techniques. You use it to heal. You use it for sleep. You use it for insomnia. I've had so many people who have told me the benefits of using these organites. Matter of fact, I will start doing testimonials very soon. It's just that I haven't had the time. I've been highly busy. More time is just either making them or answering emails. You know, some people just argue about not receiving them on time, which is natural. You know, like these are handmade. They're not mass produced from these companies. You know, we're dealing with something that is made with our hands, so it's different. It's not something that you're going to get in a shop which is already manufactured. We're actually doing it with our hands, so we're projecting different force field of energy. We're creating, so it's beyond, you know, just having something that comes from a computer, monitored and structured in some kind of way. You know, we're trying to create some kind of field here. So understand that this is the reason why, you know, a lot of people have been waiting on them and stuff sometimes, you know. But anyways, when you use the orgonite at home, it helps with insomnia, it helps with sleeping pattern. And, you know, like I've said, so many good testimonials from different people all across the world have told me and have said and have benefited from it. Matter of fact, on my website, you will see on the first page, there's a woman who wrote her testimonial. She told me like how she felt, and she asked me what crystals I used and so forth. I emailed her back. She possibly bought some more, I don't know. I mean, there's so many people that buy them, and you know, but she told me her benefits. Some people have had insomnia for years, and you know, I had one guy, he said after 2 months of using it, he hasn't had any issues up to now. You know, people were dependent, they exercise with it, they feel the energy from it, you know, they feel the benefits from it. Some people never remember their dreams, they end up remembering all their dreams, they end up dreaming again. You know, that charge, that pyosonic charge from the crystal is able to just actualize that energy and create such a field which draws all of that negative and transform, you know, the whole field around you. And I use Orgone all the time, and Orgone always does its work. You know, it does its work. It's amazing how it works. I mean, you have it, you know, I'll have it on the train, and you see how people behave. People tend to be more open. People tend to be less closed. And what the orgonite does generally, a lot of the time, it kind of just makes people express in a different way. They can't hide their, well, they can hide their emotion, but they can't hide the openness of what Orgone does. Because what it does, Orgone actually opens you up. It opens you up in such a way that it stops the blockage. That's what Reich was trying to teach. He was trying to teach, you know, how, you know, the orgasmic structure, the orgasmic function has been blocked, and it's tensed. So the key is to have it release. And a lot of people, what happens when they actually feel the orgonite, generally they'll hold it and they'll kind of almost like grip their body or grip their somewhere in their body. And then after, what will begin happening is like they'll feel relaxed and, you know, emptied out from all of this negative charge. So that's how the power of Orgone works. And this power has such a thing that it has to make you change. It has to make you transform in some way or form. Now, the elements within itself that I use in Orgone, I use a lot of copper. People say that copper's not to be used, like I've said, but it is fine to use copper. People use copper bracelets for arthritis, you know, for problems with the bones. That stuff works. In Orgonite, it's like you're getting a double charge of it. And not even that, you're getting a different composition. You're getting like a field of like a conduit, which is actually circulating the actual field or the energy even faster. So copper is actually used in it, and is actually governed by the planet Venus. Venus is obviously the planet which deals with sensual desires and as well as creativity, as well as the motion of wanting, or what does, or the desires that we like. You know, there's Mars, which actually deals with the want, like as in I want that, it's driven by that desire. But the Venus energy is more like a magnetic pull, and it's also how can you judge Venus? Venus is actually a composition of water, because it's magnetic. Anything that's magnetic is generally a reflection of the water element, because the water element is always to do with magnetism, to pull. Love actually is actually a charge of the water element. So now when you're dealing with copper, you're dealing with Venus. You're dealing with that charge, that connectivity of Venus. So copper deals with Venus. Okay? So this is how you can use copper. And copper can be used to absorb. It's very easy to absorb. So these are rods. These are actually what you call Egyptian rods, made out of magnesium. You have copper inside as well, in tiny little bits. You have neodymium magnets, which I did say, no I didn't. Neodymium magnets, which are actually positive for the body. Obviously you shouldn't use them if you have a pacemaker.